with the Bureau of Ethnology. Summary of his Arid Lands report, where he's outlining those things. Essentially, there's not enough water for what you want to do. That same year, 1893, when Powell's at the Irrigation Congress, this is the Columbian Exposition in Chicago. Frederick Jackson Turner is not at the exposition, but he's in Chicago delivering an address. The significance of the frontier in American history. He essentially says, because of the 1890 census showing migration to the west, the frontier is dead. And a lot of notoriety. But if you look back, and what he said right here, the frontier has gone, and with its going has closed the first period of American history. The West is no more as the West. This image we have doesn't fit the reality. The image of the frontier with the reality that people are moving west. And today, the West is the most urbanized portion of the United States. Big population centers in the West are 90%, and 10% is rural. Essentially, Powell said the same thing 15 years before. He said, we're going to close off the West anyway. We don't have enough water. So he was, to me, he was 15 years ahead of Turner. But he got a lot of flack for his Arid Lands work, his irrigation work. And when he told the surveys, I'm sorry, gentlemen, it's not there for you. Can't do it. Whereas Frederick Jackson Turner at this point was well accepted. People quote Turner all the time. High Country News article last year about water in Colorado. And there's a saying that's been attributed to Mark Twain, but no one's been able to prove he said it. But I'm sure you've heard it, and every time you go to a water conference, something about water in the West, it's whiskeys for drinking, waters for fighting. And it's an excellent article, includes this great map from the Bureau of Reclamation, shows the upper basin and the lower basin of the Colorado River. And an even better one, also from High Country News, from the 80s, is the Colorado River and its plumbing. And each one of these represents a project. A dam, a diversion, with spigots for the downstream effects of dams. And to me, this is the most telling map, besides Donaldson's, about water in the West and how the Colorado River has been plumbed and allocated. Grand Canyon Dam, people always say, whenever you talk about Powell and water and irrigation, would the Major have been in favor of Grand Canyon Dam? How many say yes? A couple. How many say no? A lot of don't knows. Okay, he was in favor of reclamation, but with the dam that fit the criteria. Is it near where it's being used? No. Is it local controlled? No. Is it local funded? No. It's costly. It's in the wrong place. It's too big. Reclamation, yes. Grand Canyon Dam, I'd have to say no for the Major. He changed his, after being in Washington, D.C. and a bureaucrat for longer, he changed his mind about federal funding. But it wasn't huge, major, costly projects for the funding. He thought that the locals couldn't get enough money to build and operate these things. But he didn't want federal control. I'm going to close here with a couple of image and reality. This is a Chinese publication that Early Spalmer found, and he's trying to get it through ordering from China. It's the exploration of the Colorado River and its canyons. That's Powell's 1875 report in Chinese. Look at the image, though. It's a birch bark canoe. Trappers and traders sitting there in buckskin and coonskin caps with paddles. So this is how this book thinks of Powell in the West. Canoes have gone down to the Grand Canyon, but I don't think birch bark canoes. The guys in Buxton. Another image. This was National Geographic in the 1990s. This is Powell's brain. And a book, actually, you know, phrenology and study of the brain was very big back then. And Powell and McGee had a bet as to whose brain was larger. And Powell died first, so they had to preserve his brain in order for when McGee died, they could compare it. And did a study of Powell's brain. This is the image. So here we have this book-lined library with these government documents, publications, and a nice book opened here to the study of Powell's brain. And then there's, this photo is not too gruesome, but I just want to warn you a little bit in case you might think it's weird. This is the reality of Powell's brain. It still exists. I was there last year. The National Anthropological Archives outside of D.C. It's in a vat of alcohol and with a bunch of other brains floating around in a Ziploc bag. But it's a good example of the image and reality of the West. And it's, you know, 10 years ago, this was a picture of National Geographic, and this is what's happening today with Powell's brain. The conversation continues. This is not the end of Powell. This is at the library at Illinois Wesleyan University in Bloomington. Powell taught there. Did a lot of, lived and worked in Illinois, and I was out there last year visiting Marshall Thomas. I was doing research, and of course I had to stop in and chat with the Major. And that's the end for now, but Powell continues.